Welcome back to Elderly Smiles. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and click the bell icon to stay updated. Let's begin the discussion.
Hey everyone, today we're going to be tackling something that's probably on a lot of our minds.
Yeah.
And that is the realities of getting older.
Mm-hmm.
We're digging into an article where people shared some really honest, candid thoughts about the toughest parts of aging.
Absolutely.
The stuff we don't always talk about.
It's refreshing to see such honesty.
Yeah.
It reminds us that we're all navigating these waters together.
Exactly.
We're all kind of in the same boat here.
And one of the first things that hit me was this whole idea of time and mortality.
Yeah.
When you're young,
Mm-hmm.
time feels endless.
Oh, absolutely.
But as you get older,
Right.
that feeling shifts so dramatically.
It's like suddenly becoming aware that the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
But instead of letting that overwhelm you,
Right.
it can be an incredible push to start living more intentionally.
I like that.
What are those dreams you've been putting off?
Yeah.
What experiences do you want to prioritize while you still can?
It's like that story in the article about the man in his late 50s who always wanted to travel the world.
Right.
Life got in the way for years.
Mm-hmm.
But now with his kids grown
Yeah.
and retirement approaching,
Right.
he's finally booking those trips.
It's a great example of how this awareness of our own mortality can be a powerful motivator.
I agree.
It's not about dwelling on the finite nature of time,
Yeah.
but rather using it as fuel to make the most of the time we have.
Right.
This actually connects to the concept of a life review, which the article mentioned.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed how as we age, we naturally start reflecting on our lives more?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You start thinking about the choices you've made, the paths you've taken,
Yeah.
maybe even the things you wish you'd done differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like taking stock of your life's journey so far.
Exactly. And sometimes those reflections can bring up feelings of regret.
Yeah, for sure.
But instead of getting stuck in the past,
Yeah.
think of regret as a signal,
Okay.
a nudge to take action in the present. Maybe those regrets point to a passion you've neglected or a dream you've put on hold.
Like that story about the 70-year-old who finally started taking piano lessons.
Exactly. It's never too late to pick up something you've always wanted to do,
Right.
even if it looks a little different than you imagined it when you were younger.
Exactly.
And sometimes letting go of those old expectations is the key to finding new fulfillment.
I think that's a really good point.
But of course, aging isn't just about time passing. It's also about the changes happening to our bodies and minds.
For sure.
The article had that story about the runner who could no longer keep up their old pace.
Oh, yeah.
It's a reality many of us face as we get older.
It can be tough to come to terms with those physical changes.
Yeah.
But it's also an opportunity to redefine what it means to be active and fit.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what you can't do anymore,
Right?
why not explore new activities that bring you joy and fit your current abilities?
Yeah.
Maybe it's swimming instead of running,
Oh.
or yoga instead of high-impact aerobics.
I see what you mean.
The key is to adapt and find ways to stay active that are both enjoyable and sustainable.
It's about honoring where your body is at now.
Yeah.
And finding ways to move that feel good.
Absolutely.
And it's not just physical health.
Right.
It's mental fitness, too.
Yes.
The article mentioned how the fear of mental decline is a big concern for many.
It's a valid concern for sure.
Right.
But the encouraging news is that there are things we can do to maintain our cognitive health.
Okay.
Think of it like building a reserve of cognitive strength.
I like that, building a reserve.
Yeah.
What are some ways we can do that?
Well, research suggests that staying mentally active,
Okay.
engaging in challenging activities,
Mm-hmm.
and maintaining strong social connections
Right.
can have a positive impact on cognitive function.
So it's not about passively accepting decline,
Exactly.
but actively engaging in life and challenging our minds.
Precisely. Whether it's learning a new language,
Yeah.
taking up a musical instrument,
Right.
or simply engaging in stimulating conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping your mind active is key.
Right.
And that brings us to another important aspect of aging that the article touched on.
Okay.
The feeling of loneliness and isolation.
This one really resonated with me.
Yeah,
As we get older, our social circles can shrink.
absolutely.
Friends might move away.
Right.
We may experience loss,
Yeah.
and it's easy to feel disconnected,
Mm,
especially if we're not actively seeking out connection.
exactly.
The pandemic certainly didn't help with that either.
It highlighted just how vital social interaction is for our overall well-being.
Yeah, it really did.
But even in normal times, it's important to be proactive about staying connected.
What are some concrete steps we can take?
Yeah.
I know the article had some good suggestions.
joining community groups,
Okay.
volunteering, taking classes, reconnecting with old friends. These are all great ways to foster those connections.
Yeah. It's like that old saying, if you want to have friends, be a friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself out there
Yeah.
and nurture those relationships.
Yeah, I agree.
And sometimes those connections can come from unexpected places, like a book club
Yeah.
or a shared interest group.
Interesting.
Speaking of unexpected, the article also delved into the often unspoken topic of regrets and unfulfilled dreams.
Okay.
Something we might grapple with more as we age.
We start looking back on our lives and thinking, what if?
Yeah.
Or I wish I had.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a bit of a minefield.
It can be,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be a source of negativity.
Okay.
What's fascinating is that regret can actually be a powerful motivator. Instead of dwelling on the past,
Right.
why not use those feelings to fuel action in the present?
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
So instead of getting stuck in the shoulda, woulda, couldas,
Right.
we can use those reflections to create a more fulfilling present.
Absolutely.
Like that.
It's about asking yourself, what can I do now, even if it's a modified version of that old dream?
Right.
That man in his 70s taking up piano lessons.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example.
Right.
He's not letting age dictate what he can or can't do.
Good for him.
He's taking charge and finding a way to make it happen.
It's inspiring.
Yes.
And it reminds us that we have more agency than we sometimes realize.
Absolutely.
No matter our age.
Exactly.
But of course, there are external factors that can make aging feel more challenging.
Yes.
The article also touched on the difficulty of staying relevant in a constantly changing world.
It's true.
You know?
Technology, societal norms, the way we communicate, it all seems to be evolving at a dizzying pace.
It really does.
It's easy to feel left behind,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to things like technology.
I know I've had my share of moments where I felt like I was speaking a different language
Right.
than my younger family members.
Absolutely.
But it's not about becoming a tech whiz overnight.
Right.
It's about staying curious and engaged with the world around us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about staying connected to what's happening,
Right.
being open to learning new things,
Yeah.
and maintaining a dialogue with younger generations.
I agree.
Yeah. It's about bridging those generational gaps and recognizing that we all have something valuable to contribute regardless of our age.
I like that.
And that actually leads us to another important theme that emerged in the article,
Okay.
finding purpose in later life.
Yeah.
You know, as we transition away from the roles that may have defined us for so long, work, parenting, caregiving,
Right.
it's natural to wonder what's next.
It's like a whole new chapter is opening up, but sometimes it's hard to figure out what that chapter will hold.
It's a time for rediscovery, both of ourselves and of what truly brings us meaning. The article had that inspiring story about the woman who found a new sense of purpose through art after retirement.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's a beautiful example of how our passions can evolve and lead us in unexpected directions.
It's like a reminder that it's never too late to tap into those creative sparks
Right.
or explore something you've always been curious about.
Exactly.
Retirement doesn't have to mean the end of purpose.
Right.
It can be the beginning of something entirely new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the freedom to explore those possibilities
Okay.
and redefine what purpose means to you at this stage of life.
I see.
And, you know, this exploration of purpose often goes hand in hand with navigating shifts in our identity.
Okay.
The article touched on how aging can sometimes lead to a sense of disorientation
Right.
as we let go of old roles and identities.
It's like who we thought we were is changing. And that can be both unsettling and exciting at the same time.
It's a process of letting go of what no longer serves us
Yeah.
and embracing who we are becoming.
Right.
The article featured a woman who felt lost after retirement,
Yeah.
but rediscovered herself through creative pursuits.
Interesting.
It's like she was given permission to shed those old labels and explore different facets of herself.
It's a powerful reminder that our identities aren't fixed.
Right.
They're constantly evolving.
Yes.
And that's something to celebrate.
Absolutely.
But speaking of evolving roles,
Yes.
the article also acknowledged that many older adults find themselves taking on unexpected caregiving responsibilities
Yes.
for their adult children or grandchildren.
It's incredibly common these days.
Yeah.
And while it can be a deeply rewarding experience,
Right.
it also comes with its own set of challenges.
I know from personal experience that stepping into a caregiving role can be a huge adjustment.
Yeah.
My daughter went through a difficult time a while back,
Oh, wow.
and I found myself helping out with the grandkids more than I ever expected.
Yeah.
It was a blessing to be there for them.
Yeah.
But it was also a reminder that I needed to prioritize my own well-being too.
That's so important.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in caring for others and neglect our own needs.
Right.
But just like they tell you on an airplane, you need to put on your own oxygen mask first.
Yeah.
Before you can help anyone else.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Self-care isn't selfish. It's essential,
Right.
especially when you're taking on additional responsibilities.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to another practical aspect of aging that the article addressed,
Okay.
adjusting to the financial realities of retirement.
Right.
It's not always the carefree, financially secure experience we might imagine.
It often involves making adjustments to our lifestyle and our spending habits.
Yeah, for sure.
The transition from a steady income to a fixed budget can be challenging for some.
Right.
And the loss of a structured work routine can lead to feelings of boredom
Yeah.
or aimlessness.
I remember that story in the article about the man who struggled with both finances and boredom after retiring.
Oh, yeah.
It highlighted the importance of planning ahead
Mm-hmm.
and finding new sources of fulfillment outside of work.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about being proactive and thinking creatively
Okay.
about how to make the most of this new chapter.
I see.
Whether it's budgeting carefully,
Right.
downsizing, finding part-time work,
Yeah.
or exploring new hobbies and interests.
Right.
There are ways to make retirement a time of both financial stability and personal fulfillment.
It's about reframing retirement not as an ending,
Yes.
but as a new beginning
Yeah.
filled with possibilities for growth, connection, and even a bit of adventure.
Absolutely.
And speaking of connection,
Yes.
the article also touched on how our relationships can change and evolve as we get older.
It's natural for some friendships to fade as our lives take different paths.
Uh-huh.
And family dynamics can shift as children grow up and start families of their own.
For sure.
Even long-term romantic relationships can face new challenges
Right.
as we navigate the ups and downs of aging together.
The article shared a story about a woman whose circle of friends had grown smaller over the years.
Right.
It's a common experience,
Yes,
but it can be painful nonetheless.
it is.
Yeah.
And it's important to acknowledge those feelings of loss, while also remembering that it's never too late to form new connections.
Okay.
The woman in the article found a sense of community through a book club,
Yeah.
which is a great example of how shared interests can bring people together.
It's a reminder that we don't have to passively accept loneliness.
Right.
There are always opportunities to reach out, connect with others,
Yes.
and build new relationships no matter our age.
Absolutely.
And I think that ties in beautifully with one of the article's core messages.
Okay.
Aging, while it comes with its own set of challenges,
Mm-hmm.
also offers a wealth of opportunities for growth and self-discovery.
It's a time to reflect on our lives, reevaluate our priorities,
Right.
and find new meaning and purpose.
I agree.
It's about embracing the journey with all its twists and turns.
Yeah.
And recognizing that it's not over.
Right.
It's simply evolving.
And that evolution can be incredibly beautiful.
It can.
We have a chance to shed old roles,
Mm.
explore new passions,
Yeah.
connect with ourselves and the world in deeper ways, and perhaps even discover hidden strengths and talents we never knew we had. It really is remarkable when you think about it. Aging isn't just about the passage of time.
Right.
It's about this ongoing process of growth and transformation.
And it's a process that's unique to each individual.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one-size-fits-all experience of aging.
Yeah, that's true.
What matters most is finding what works for you,
Right.
what brings you joy, and what allows you to live this chapter of your life to the fullest.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening.
Yeah.
And it's made me realize how much we can learn from each other's experiences.
Absolutely.
There's this incredible well of wisdom and resilience within the older adult community.
Absolutely. Sharing our stories, supporting one another, and celebrating the unique perspectives that come with age.
Yeah.
That's what makes this journey so enriching.
I'm curious, from all the stories and insights we've discussed, what's something that has particularly resonated with you?
You know what really struck me was the theme of adaptability.
Okay.
Despite the challenges that aging can bring, the people we've talked about today have shown such incredible strength and a willingness to adapt to new circumstances.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to see how they're navigating these changes with grace, humor, and a determination to make the most of each day.
That's so true. It's not about denying the realities of aging,
Right.
but rather finding ways to work with them,
Exactly.
to adapt and evolve as we go.
And in that adaptation, we often discover new strengths, new passions, and a whole new appreciation for the simple things in life.
It's like that quote we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Aging is not lost youth, but a new stage of opportunity and strength.
I love that quote.
It's not about trying to recapture what was.
Right.
but about embracing the present and approaching the future with a sense of curiosity and openness.
Beautifully said. And I think that leads us to a thought-provoking question for our listeners to ponder as we wrap up our conversation today.
Okay.
If you think of aging as a journey of self-discovery, what are you most looking forward to discovering about yourself in this next chapter of your life?
What a great question. What new passions will you uncover?
Right.
What wisdom will you share? What impact will you make on the world around you?
It's an exciting time full of possibilities. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Right.
Embrace the changes, celebrate the wisdom that comes with age, and never stop exploring the incredible opportunities that lie ahead.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the realities of aging.
Yes, thank you.
We hope this conversation has sparked some reflection, offered some encouragement, and maybe even inspired you to approach this next chapter of your life with a renewed sense of purpose and possibility.
Take care, everyone, and keep those conversations going.
Yes.
We're all in this together.